to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the work session here for Monday, October 16th, 9:30 a.m. Beautiful Southampton Town Hall. I ask the Secretary Treasurer Pell to call the roll.
William Parrish.
Present.
Ann Walker.
Here.
Edward J. Warner Jr.
Yo.
Edward J. Warner is here. William Pell is present, and President Scott Howard's.
And here.
We're ready to go.
All right, welcome, everybody. Let's get right into the work here at the work session. We got Mark McRedmond sitting over here as well. Waterfowl hunting location permit applications for determination.
All right, let's see what we have first.
Oh, Mr. Mack's on time.
Sort of.
Almost.
We have Richard Gaminsky, permit 116. He's adding Keith Elliston as a co-permittee. Keith has been on the waiting list, and he will be taken off once he is put on this with Mr. Gaminsky. The trustee, the Bay Constables had no problem with it and said it was up to the trustees.
Yeah, I know both of them. That'll be fine.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trustee Welker.
This is Mr. Schuster, Charles B., permit 200. Let's see. Okay, I had the wrong one. 200, there it is. So this was given to Ronald Yules. And he is transferring it to Mr. Schuster. This is, he was approved from the wait list. Rich said it all looks okay to him. He's okay with it.
Meets all the Blue Book, meets all the
Meets
program
everything.
requirements.
James, could you just draw back on the location site? So, is there anything we need to be concerned about at this location, given that it is adjacent basically to the Morton Wildlife Sanctuary?
Rich did not seem to have a concern. He said it was far enough away.
Well, there's
Says
one
it's
other blind
okay.
to the southwest corner, and which one, is that the one
This
that's?
is the one that's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
that's
blind that's up in the headwaters of, well, the southwest corner of Noyak, which is similarly adjacent to the refuge, but he'll be hunting out away from the refuge, not over the refuge.
So you have a specific situate of how the blind is supposed to?
Well, I mean, it would have to sit facing to the northeast because of the logistics of the waterway.
Okay, and
And
what,
the beach.
So you want to make
I
sure.
don't think we ever had any problems with that. I don't
No.
remember.
No, I mean, I've
No complaints.
known people that have hunted down there prior to us having, these blind permit locations, and they've hunted all over the whole complex. And in my tenure as a trustee, there's never been an issue down there, as far as I know,
It's
so.
not an easy place to hunt either.
and there hasn't been an issue, even though Clam Island is more heavily used now in terms of walkers and so forth?
You have the visual, a good visual aspect of the island. There are people walking there. And, I mean, you take a hunter safety course, you have to be a vigilant hunter and a educated hunter. So, I don't see an issue with it.
Okay.
Well,
Are there signs on Clam Island about hunting in progress?
I do
Okay.
not believe so because it's a county-owned property.
Okay.
So the constables should have checked to make sure it met all the proper safety tests for this prior to,
Yep. And it's
recommendation.
been a spot for,
A long
How
time.
long?
It's been,
Yeah, if you
Back
look at the back,
to-
like, go to the back of that file.
2017.
No, there's more in the middle of it.
Oh, that was
I
the
can
last
see,
one.
yeah, I can see that's like stapled.
Well, I mean, I frequented that pond clamming and fishing since the
Go to like-
70s, and people have hunted there that I can remember since that
in that spot.
that time, in that area, yes.
Okay, I just
I mean,
wanted,
I'm seeing like at least 2002,
Oh,
so 20 years,
yeah.
okay. I just want to make sure we're looking at the big picture with it.
Seems as though the track record has been decades of no issue.
Yes.
Approve?
Move it ahead,
Yes,
yeah.
okay. And then we have line number 197, which is permitted to Rich Franks. He is transferring it from him to a Steve Figari. I did not see Steve's name on the wait list, which doesn't mean anything, but he is from Hampton Bays. This is Little Long Pond. Rich says it all looks good. He knows Mr. Figari, and he is he's a licensed hunter, and it's up to you. what you want
He's
to do.
transferring it.
Is the usual protocol that it goes to someone from the wait list?
No,
No.
no.
We would
they
like
just-
it to.
It
we
would be
would like-
nice.
We don't have it set up that way
Yeah,
currently.
That would be just,
That would be, considering some of the
Little
spots are
change.
very
Yeah.
much wanted
Right.
in
Yeah.
that area.
I do have one question, because I know that there's been some issues with 4x4s and bikers in the area, and they've closed off some of the access points to this Long Pond Greenbelt. Is this one of the areas that has been closed to 4x4 access and for the people, the hunters, to get there to their blinds?
just do an add-on
That access has now been, or will be very shortly,
Okay.
reestablished.
Okay.
There's been
Yeah,
conversations,
I'm just
ongoing
making sure, because if
conversations.
you give someone a duck blind spot and they
And then you
can't
can't get
physically
to
get
it.
there,
No, as
That's
far
not gonna
as,
work.
as far as I understand,
Okay.
and we can follow up on that.
yeah, I think
But-
that's important,
No,
because
no,
I'm in,
Does this person
been-
have more than one already?
He has none.
Yes, none?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What does Rich Frank has left then? Just one?
Yeah, just one. I believe it's two. I can't remember the other one.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter, Lisa.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
he has one.
But the access issue is an ongoing conversation, and if it hasn't already been corrected,
Okay.
will be corrected.
yeah,
That,
hunting season's coming quickly, so.
of course.
Yep.
There was, due to 4x4s and e-bikes and motorcycles and off-road bikes, the access to this area was blocked in the spring.
that's not the issue now.
No, it
That
isn't.
won't be the
No.
issue, so
No.
that shouldn't be a problem. So
No.
it's
So
just a
it's
matter of
approved?
safety and following protocol, so
Yeah.
it should be fine.
Okay.
As long as it follows the protocol, it's fine.
And then the next one is Eric Hagan. Eric was denied because there was no access to where he wanted to hunt. He was hunting in Mulva Hill Pond, which is, I believe it is near
Brick Hill Road.
Brick Hill
It's
Road,
just
yes,
to the
in between
east.
Brick Hill Road and Bridgehampton and Bridgehampton Sag Harbor Turnpike. It backs up to what used to be Spring Farm.
Okay.
So he does have access. There is an access road, a public access road to that pond. The only thing is, he did write a letter, which Rich asked him to do. This letter is with regard to my application for a duck blind location at Mulva Hill Pond. My application for this location was submitted in August. Over the last few weeks, several calls and messages were placed into the Bay Constable's office with regard to the status of my application. I was told I would receive a call back numerous times by the responsible party, but a call back was not received. My first form of communication was a denial notification due to no access. However, this is false. There is a public access through Southampton Town's public lands and Mulva Hill Trail System about this location. This can be validated by looking at a map which clearly shows the public lands that can serve as access. I also have private access to this location from adjacent private property in the event the public access is lost. I can submit a letter from the property owner in the event private access is deemed necessary. Thank you for your time and consideration, Eric Hagan. The only thing that Rich wanted me to let you know is he may have access by a private property owner, but the next person may not.
And
So-
plus-
So he said disregard any of that. If he has public access, then that's fine, but the private access is not.
I'd like to
an
see him use
option.
the public access, so it's maintained
Exactly.
and it's known throughout
That's-
the town that there is public access
Right.
to this pond, and it's not solely for one person's use.
Right.
That next time, when it comes on the list to let it go, that there's access
That's
for
from the
future
public.
hunting.
There is
Hey,
a,
Ed?
yeah.
Yes.
But I think you need some ponds with no hunting so the birds have a chance to rest.
I mean, there are.
That's a jumping pond from one pond to the next pond. And, it's, you know, you have to have some type of sanctuaries once in a while. That was heavily shot years ago when Spring Farm was going.
I have no problem giving it to him because I don't think he's
I
gonna
just put it out.
hunt it that often.
Yeah, but you don't know the next person, that's the trouble.
But you're correct. The birds do need some sanctuary. They do
Yeah.
need some place to rest. You do have to balance out this resource.
Well, is there not 3 ponds in a row there that are not hunted, or are they hunted currently, Billy? Do you know?
I don't know.
I think we're
Are
gonna
there
have to take.
blinds on
There's
them?
no
Take a look.
blinds in
Right,
those.
Yeah.
so you're gonna have to
So-
take a look at that perhaps and set some form of policy relative
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, I mean, I can't,
before you have application requests for these other ponds.
Yeah.
You need to make a determination that you're gonna have areas that you're gonna designate for the birds to rest. And I think that, generally responsible hunters, they understand that.
So Springs Farm is just to the east there, right, off the turnpike?
Yes.
yes,
Spring Farm
So-
is no longer open.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he retired.
Because of the
Go.
bird flu, right?
Well, he retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was,
I don't know what's
Had enough.
happened with the property.
yeah, I don't know either. I believe he was selling it, but I don't know if it ever happened.
Maybe we should
He
ask
still
the
owns
Bay
it at this
Constables to comment as far as the flyway and the ability for the birds to rest, Billy. I mean,
That's a good idea.
Do you wanna hold it and let me
Yeah.
talk to Rich?
yeah, I'd like to I think we should have a conversation, being that they're familiar with this area and they give recommendations. I would like to, have a little bit more information.
Yeah,
Does-
but let's do some research on the other areas too.
Does-
Figure out what makes sense here.
Does Mr. Hagan have another blind?
I do not believe so, but I can double check that. I don't, take me at my word, this is my first week doing these.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So-
but I will check on that for
We
you, Ann.
appreciate you stepping in
Yeah, so-
and.
I will
taking
double
a-
check on
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
All right, so at the suggestion here, put this one on hold for a bit.
Mhm.
Let's do a little bit more research and then we can move forward with this process.
Yep.
Process.
You got it. Okay. And the next one is Mike Tessitore. He has a new proposed location, which Rich,
His recommendation,
he has two,
Can you show us the location?
You have it, James?
I don't have it now.
he owns, right now, he owns 9 and 232, but am I correct in saying that he was willing to
He
give
doesn't
up
own it.
one?
He
He's
doesn't
gonna
own-
transfer
he-
one.
Oh,
don't
If
own it.
this
He doesn't
goes
own it.
through, I'm not really sure. The picture of where this is attached to this package.
So
You
just
wanna pass
has
it
two
around?
now?
Yeah.
He has 2 now,
He
but
has
he's
2, he
looking.
wants to give one up, but he's waiting to see what happens with this.
well,
Okay,
Yeah, but we don't
so
know where it is.
I'm gonna show you right now. And I'm gonna read you what Rich sent. Good morning.
Is there a description of the water body?
In his packet.
It's in West Hampton,
Yeah, it's in
This
West
is up
Hampton.
way up in the head of the creek.
head of which creek?
Off of Weechin Way.
He said, "We reviewed the attached proposed waterfowl location,
I
and it's
think-
our
I think this-
determination."
Oh,
I think other people, remember we went through this with a few other people, forget what's right next to it. It's way up there.
Sorry.
It could be
It's supposed
fine,
to-
but
we're to
I
allow
think
him to
there
give-
was problems.
Yeah, well, Rich, he said that it was too close. He thinks it's too close to the public, if I'm
Is
not
that what you're-
mistaken.
Is that what you're?
I talked to Rich on the phone because I was trying to figure out
Next to a
what,
school.
Is that-
where Lene had left off.
Where is it situated on the
It says,
map?
in
that
regards
it's-
to the location, let me read you what Rich sent me. We have reviewed the attached proposed waterfowl locations, and it's our determination that in regards to waterfowl location 232 for Mike Tessitore, if the trustees wish to allow him to give his spot to the wait list and grant the new spot on Widgeon Way in West Hampton Dunes, that would be a trustee board decision only. Once a decision is made by the board, then we can approve that. In regards to the location off of Clover Grass Court that is proposed, that location is north of Montauk Highway and approximately 270 feet south of the Long Island Railroad tracks.
That one, that's separate. That one was already denied.
That
Yeah.
was denied,
That second
okay.
part,
That-
the
that's
different
the
part,
one-
the
So
second
it's
half,
just the
but the
orange?
top part,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
the
the
one
one
I
I
thought-
thought,
Like I
on
said,
this.
just
That's
took it over.
The one at Widgeon Way,
what's,
where is it situated on this map,
what's,
James?
what's the
Where's the
recommendation on this?
Doesn't know.
I gave it, Scott
It
has
should
it.
be here.
Here, did you, what's the recommendation on this spot from the constable?
I think he didn't have a
Jason,
problem with it,
No,
correct?
he didn't give a recommendation.
He
I
didn't
don't
give
think.
one,
So,
okay.
wait, we don't have one? What is it?
I talked to him on the phone, I think he was okay with this, it's the other ones he wasn't
We
okay
need
with.
something in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Where,
have him
where is
email
the
me.
Brookhaven
Put this on
town
hold.
line there? And,
That's West Hampton Dunes, so
Yeah, but
it's the
this is
county park.
no, it's the West Hampton, I mean, the
It's our
the
Bay Bottom.
Southampton town line in Brookhaven, there's a line that runs north and south that,
It's right there, that white line.
okay, so it's,
It's east of that.
okay,
Right,
it's
so
on
it's
our,
east of that, it's on our bottom.
so it's, you're not gonna interfere, you're away from homes, you're shooting over a meadow.
Yep.
I mean, it's up to him to provide an access for himself there, and it looks like something.
Is
you
it gonna
need-
be a duck boat?
That, I would question.
Should say on,
Okay, so
on
if it's a
the
duck boat,
It'd be
application.
fine.
Yeah, I had no.
Then
I-
that's okay.
Yeah.
Double check that, I think it's a.
Just
I
duck
think you
boat,
did
what do
say
you,
duck
this is your
boat.
area, what do you think?
I don't know enough
Where's
about it.
number
I mean, it's not,
Says right on the front, it should.
I would be fine with, as long as we get an okay letter from Rich.
It looks,
Okay, I'll have-
if it's a
I'll
duck
have
boat,
Rich.
that eliminates the access area, it's on
Yeah.
our bottom, if it's not.
It's a recreational blind,
Yeah, he's
and it
not,
says type of blind, it says other. I don't know what he means by that, you
So
know.
we need clarification.
Yeah.
I mean,
alright, so clarification on what type of blind,
yeah,
and, okay from Rich.
yeah,
And
Well,
we should,
just,
we'll
no
hold
safety
it.
issues, it looks like it's,
An exact
Looks-
location?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
it
mean,
looks like it could be okay.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean-
it would be fine.
You're far enough away from any other blinds that are there, so it's not be conflict. The question I have is, maybe a duck boat is something that's a seasonal thing that gets taken out of there.
As long as he's got a good access point that he can get to this thing. This is okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's far enough away from.
There's a few things we need though first.
I'll make sure. So we'll hold it, and we'll get what type of blind,
Yes,
and an okay from Rich,
yeah.
An exact
and
location.
exact location.
Yeah, it looks,
Rich,
This doesn't have GPS coordinates on it.
it should,
Does the application?
usually on the,
Second page, I think.
Okay, so we do have
We
exact
have the
location.
exact coordinates, yeah.
so we do
Can-
have
can-
that, okay.
Can you put them in, James, can you put them in? No.
No.
Is there a dot on there that is it marked?
I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
James.
There's a picture on a map that he took with a red dot.
Can I pass this to James so he can pull it up?
Mike is also very long time hunter. And
Oh, he's experienced,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
very
not worried about
experienced.
that.
Yeah, he's
He
experienced.
would be very safe.
He's experienced, okay. Yep.
So it's like about where my cursor is here.
Okay.
we're in
So right in that area,
This is a town.
It's just open, it's
It's
open
res-
wet, it's just
it's-
wetlands.
it's right just inside our borders.
Yep,
Let me ask you a question. You might know the answer to that. So if I'm in Brookhaven town, can I go on the other side of that meadow and hunt?
yeah. There's no restrictions over there.
So-
It's just,
So he's got, if he's facing the west, he has to be careful. He,
He's shooting from our property into the air.
yeah, we're about using our space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as he's meeting all the state
yeah.
guidelines and the safety
Yeah.
guidelines.
I don't
he-
think there's a problem.
Yeah, that looks like it's okay.
Yeah.
Who, is there a waterfowl program in Brookhaven? And if so, who runs it and do
I
we
don't
need
think,
to?
I don't think there is one.
No, it's
So
just
who-
open, just open.
It's getting up, the first person that gets up the earliest
That's-
and
that's
and
what it
arrives
is.
there, it's a first come, first served.
Yeah.
Do we need to let anyone know about
I don't
this?
think
If
so.
we approve a new site, given that there is such
I don't-
proximity
I don't
to
think so.
I don't think so.
the
I don't-
Brookhaven line?
No, because the state, it's still within the state of New York, still has to comply with the laws of the state of New York.
I would rather memorialize a spot on our side and let them
Yeah.
come to us.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I-
just
And
saying,
plus, for them to run from Brookhaven down,
Yeah.
it's a long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like it's fine.
Well,
Everything there looks like it's fine.
So you wanna hold it and get the information?
Just
Well,
get
I thought
the
we
letter
had
from, the letter from Rich, that's what you need.
Okay,
Okay.
and the type of, whatever's gonna be
Line.
used there.
what
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
quote? Okay, I will take care of that.
Thanks,
Then-
Lisa.
And see
Then
you
he'll
at the
be
next
good to
meeting.
go.
And Lisa,
Grant him
thank you
arrow
for
bottom space.
stepping up and stepping
No
in
worries.
Thank you, Lisa.
upon the resignation of our former valued employee who ran the waterfowl program.
No
But we
worries.
appreciate you stepping up greatly.
And
that's why we multitask in our office.
that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, see you later.
All right, we'll go to the general permit applications for determination. We got Lynn Leahy, 15 Tarpon Road, East Quad. This one we've been working on for quite a while. And I think it's are we finally where we need to be, James?
I believe so. They gave us stamp
You
plans,
just have that letter with Mike.
and they revised the cover sheet, it's an as-built.
The permit. The permit.
Right, this is an as-built, and we needed the engineered plans for it, and they finally provided with the engineered plans. So at this stage, I think it's okay to go.
Okay,
You good, James?
I'm good with it then.
Trustee Pell?
I have 61 Inlet Road, it's gonna be put on hold, because consultant is sick today. The next one I have is 49 Edgewater Road.
Water's Edge Road?
Yeah, is that Mr. Mack? Come on up. Sign in.
Everybody, good morning.
You got a bunch on here.
Morning, Billy.
I do.
You have all your paperwork for
I got
all of
three.
them? You
I
might
do.
as well,
Yeah, if you guys are up for that.
yeah, just
Thank you.
get all your stuff done.
Billy
John.
Mack, First Coastal.
Get you on your way.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah, thank you.
4.
Well, you know I love hanging out here on Monday mornings with you guys.
You got 5 on.
I think I only have to stay
No,
for
4.
3.
4 on.
The other ones, the last one should be pretty simple. Okay, so this is.
This was, the bulkhead was put in years ago illegally.
Correct. It was an existing, yes, was put in, I don't know,
Was put in illegal.
illegally, without a trustee's permit. It
Without a
was
trustee
put in
permit.
before the DEC, right? So somewhere
Yes.
before,
And then
in the
prior board
70s.
had somehow went through the.
Yes.
loophole.
So what we are suggesting with this is a replacement with a low sill bulkhead and actually creating wetlands.
Okay.
So we've met with the owner several times, talked to Bill about this a couple times, and I think this is our best solution. It's a low sill, so half of the 10-foot area will be wetland vegetation. The other half will be upland vegetation. And there's a little existing curb that is, it doesn't even show there, but it should show there.
What are you looking for?
There's a little curb.
What do you
Cement,
mean
like a-
curb?
like a
Cement,
saw.
oh, there it is. It says existing wood wall. So that's there, that's gonna stay. We're gonna be even inside of that because that's about 15 feet away.
That's like a retaining wall?
Yeah, it's like a little retaining wall.
But is that in the, and whose
Jurisdiction?
Well, it's about 15 feet away from
it's
the
in Marty's.
bulkhead.
Yeah, that's.
So it's in Marty's.
Cloud.
Or conservation.
and
Yeah.
does Marty, did he give a permit for that?
Well, we're cleaning up this permit with you guys first. This guy has a pending renovation application in. So he will be giving a lot of buffer area.
Right.
All
To
right, so
the
we
town.
also need
Lot of
a,
litigation.
we're gonna need a letter from the conservation board on this,
Okay.
and also give them our recommendations back, what we're gonna do, right?
Wasn't this a denial by our board originally? I remember Fred Habermeyer was on
it.
it. We
Yes.
asked,
Yes.
asked to have it removed,
You have an
and
advisory letter.
He wanted to
Yeah.
rebuild the
Advisory letter.
bulkhead as
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And then Havemeyer suggested denying
No,
it.
Yeah, I remember this.
So.
that's before
uh,
we thought about low sill.
Yeah, so the solution would be a low sill, create a wetland, increase the buffer, and
Because there's no wave action in there.
there's no wave action, but still, if you took the bulkhead away, it would slowly become a problem.
Are there bulkheads on properties to either side?
There are not,
Or
No.
quickly become a problem.
yeah.
It's like see, and it's way up in like a,
Yeah, it's
The
in the,
corner,
it's in
right?
Fishkill.
yeah.
No, I'm looking at
And this
it.
bulkhead was built, I think, in the seventies, so it's been there for a very long time. It never had the benefit of a trustee's permit, and that's why we're here now.
What is the elevation change from the water to the bulkhead? Is it considerable?
Right now, it does not get flooded at high tide, so yeah, it's considerable.
So my concern is, seeing what happened at 65 Cliff Drive, if the bulkhead's removed and there's not some kind of containment device,
Yeah.
it's all gonna wash into the pond.
Yeah, it does
But
progress
you
up.
have that one retaining wall, and if they do a nice planning, that'll stop that.
But you're talking about going low sill anyway, so you're not gonna
Yeah.
have that problem.
You're not
So
gonna
if
have
you
that.
properly do the low sill with the vegetation,
And I imagine
should be fine.
I think so.
the conservation board's gonna make them put a swell in to keep the water from going down.
Well, I just wanna make sure that there's no silt or debris
Yeah,
or
that's why we have.
material that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
Sloughing. What
introduced
is-
into the
Yeah.
pond, into the waterway.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know-
What they did when they built this bulkhead in the seventies is they backfilled right up against it. So if we take that bulkhead away, we definitely need to regrade that, which is part of this.
Well, that was my next question. Is it gonna be regraded to be consistent with the other adjoining properties?
Yes, they slope
Which is,
down.
yeah, okay.
what's the con board recommendations on this?
Can't read it.
Do you wanna read it,
2010.
James? James, you wanna read it?
No changes
So
to
just
natural.
so for the public to
Removal
know,
of unauthorized, yeah, they're basically saying remove it.
right, but what are they saying to replace it with?
Followed by natural shoreline remediation.
Right,
So the low sill's a compromise to kinda negate the negative aspects, but still allow for the net gain of wetlands.
Yeah.
Are
Right
you gonna cut that one down, or are you gonna put a new?
We're gonna put a new low sill.
Plastic?
Yeah,
Take that wood out,
take that old wood out. It's a mixture of
What-
creosote and CCA.
yeah.
did you investigate more nature-based solutions?
We did, and we originally thought of like a bio log, a core log installation, but we have found that we've had a lot of problem with those in the winter. Any kind of ice or snow, and this does ice over this neck of the pond,
It's out of fresh
just
water.
destroys them, yeah. So I'm not as confident with a core log solution. The benefit of this is that it will create wetland vegetation landward and seaward of the low sill bulkhead. So we're actually, and you can see from this, there's zero native vegetation there right now.
Cause is that sand that's there?
That's sand, yeah,
So that'll be removed?
that'll be planted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you're just
Yeah, and it's
that,
gonna even
okay.
get more if you're
Yeah,
going to con board for additional activities. You're gonna end up with a
Exactly.
very large buffer.
so you can see that we're gonna plant this corner of the speckled right there,
Right.
over, up a little bit to your left there, James. Boom, right there, that's gonna be planted with alterniflora, cause will kind of match what's in there. There's a lot of Phragmites on either side, there's not very healthy.
So you have a transition from one environment to another.
Exactly.
What are you planting where the, right here?
That is, that should be.
Existing.
Peyton's.
Walk to be
Well,
removed.
this is right behind the.
Yeah.
This is
and-
existing.
If it's right behind the
Be
bulkhead, you
removed.
need Spartina,
Yeah, it would be Spartina.
at least.
Probably
And then what's behind that? Cause I see beach grass.
Then that's
but-
beach grass, right,
So
And
what
that
do you
can
need
flood?
this PVC retaining wall for?
to hold up that grade change. It's still a pretty significant grade change.
It's
From-
probably about 2
from-
feet.
From the wet, from where you're,
Are you talking about that,
so you're doing a low sill on this line, right?
exactly.
And then there's how,
Then there's just that's just
4
a
feet,
change
4
in,
feet, and then you're doing another retaining wall?
No, there's no retaining wall, it's just gonna be change in vegetation.
Well, it says PVC, proposed PVC retaining wall that runs this line.
That's not.
And then there's beach grass above that.
Oh, we're coming landward, 5 feet.
So
Yep.
more naturally, it would be the low sill bulkhead, then you have the
Change in grade.
alternative flora, and then you have the patents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that new PVC wall should go to the outside. That arrow is not placed
It's in the
properly.
wrong place.
So
Not that,
this,
not
this
that one, yeah, that
PVC
one,
wall you're proposing on the
on the
landward side of the.
seaward
patents.
side,
So,
So where it is?
My-
yeah.
my suggestion is that.
Where the old one was, the low sill bulkhead.
So move it
Oh,
over.
so even
Place.
here,
No, no,
where the existing.
it's gonna, no, go on the outside, keep on going to the outside of the walkway,
One more,
right there.
No, that's the low sill bulkhead.
Exactly.
Yes,
So, Billy,
it's just you can see that, oh, wait, wait,
No, you
Billy-
have low sill
Here we go.
bulkhead.
Right,
Yeah,
Here,
yeah, and then we do have an upper retaining wall.
and then you have a.
Yeah, that's
PVC
preserving that.
retaining wall halfway.
That might be covered.
Well,
in
what is the
My- my-
elevation
my
change? Is it
suggestion-
one on
Gotta go
3,
back
one
and
on
look.
4?
my suggestion is back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Get a revised plans so that we know exactly what's going
Well,
on, otherwise we're
Pull up the
speculating.
cross-section on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. We need a cross-section to see the
There it is,
elevation
okay.
change.
So you can see that's a retaining wall, so because of this elevation change is so much, we're stepping it down. The seawardmost portion is the Spartina alterniflora. Then you have the low sill bulkhead, then you have the Spartina patents, and then you have retaining wall, and then beach grass.
You got like a double,
Yeah,
Is that necessary?
well,
Could we,
it's pretty steep
could we
there.
take a look at this?
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
can
Happy
I
to
would like
meet
to
you
go
guys, sure.
down there, yeah, I think, cause I'm just
This
looking,
is-
like drawing the lens back here, the whole rest of this little cove is all natural shoreline in Fish Cove, I mean,
Yeah.
in this area.
right, I mean, you can look at the
Yeah,
aerial, most of it's
You know what
fibrous.
happened there, Ann, is when he put the bulkhead in there, he backfilled, made his higher than the neighbors.
Yeah.
so maybe,
So
Yeah, that's
either
why I
he
need
has
to
to,
see it.
either he has to take a chunk of sand out.
And we're
remove it.
taking a lot out to
Remove
step it
Yeah.
down.
but you mean
Yeah.
enough to where you don't need that second PVC retaining wall?
Yeah, instead of stepping it, make it transition all through that
Well,
whole
the-
10-foot.
Yeah, and that second PVC retaining wall is to kind of just make sure we don't lose that upper
It
steeper
doesn't
portion.
slough.
Exactly.
But it,
Yeah, if I would like to see this,
Yeah.
actually, if we could hold on this,
Happy to meet
just
any of you
because,
guys there.
Yeah.
You want me to, not, maybe end of next week.
I mean,
but
based
fall.
on looking at your drawing right there, it just looks like you're,
Overkill.
yeah, I mean, you're just retaining the same level, but in a secondary bulkhead. That you're,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I
No,
get
I
what
get
you're
it. I
saying,
mean,
but when you look at this,
you need to keep in mind that the low sill bulkhead is designed to get overwashed, and
the first one,
the
the
first
second
one,
one,
second one is hopefully not going to get overwashed, and we'll
Right.
keep that
Can you-
upper
Can you
soil.
put a biolog there,
We could.
a couple of rocks?
Well,
This
the-
is-
the
this is
bio-
going from
the-
one
The
bulkhead
biolog in that area will
two.
probably have a 5-year, longevity.
Mhm.
And it's basically allowing it to stabilize, and you can
Yeah,
plant
well,
in
yeah.
the biolog, and then,
As long as we're above high water,
but you,
yeah,
I don't mind the biolog because it won't get as damaged by ice.
yeah.
so you're saying
I
it'll
mean, you don't
eliminate
have-
that second,
You don't have any wave action in there.
There's no
It's
wave
a
action.
cove.
Yeah, it's just ice.
Yeah.
You're not,
Just ice damage.
I don't think it's necessary to have that extra.
the second one,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do
Especially if
this.
you have one all the way up here,
right.
would, you know.
Yeah.
I think you need to go back to the drawing board on this one.
Well, how about if we meet and happy to meet with Ann, Scott, if you're free,
Sure.
Maybe James,
or
Schedule.
and
if
James.
you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
We can schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do
Okay.
that.
Picnic.
You have my phone?
Picnic. I
And
like that.
so this property was sold, and this is a new owner
Exactly.
who's trying to correct things.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
What a headache.
And it's a good effort. It really is because
Mhm.
they're
Trying
trying
to
to
do
do the
the
right
right
thing.
Mhm.
They are.
Be more than happy to collaborate with you.
Okay. Appreciate that.
So the next one I have is 124 Cold Spring with Mr. Mack.
Yes, that is a replacement of an existing boat slip. And there it is right here.
Can you zoom in on that when you get a chance?
So this is an existing boat slip that the owner uses quite a bit for his boats. And what we're proposing to do is take the existing CCA bulkhead that is past its prime out and replace it with a PVC bulkhead and non-treated material. Because it's situated the way it is, we will not have any deadmen on it'll be a
Cantilever bulkhead?
cantilevered
Yeah.
Navy-style bulkhead. So the piles will be doing most of the work.
How far from the shoreline is the bulkhead? 'Cause that one
It-
goes out a bit past.
It's right on the edge. I mean, it does go past,
Yeah,
It projects out
Yeah.
into the channel.
yeah.
yeah, 'cause
But-
I think when they originally did it, Ann, I think that the sand was out that far,
Mm-hmm.
and over the years,
It's
that's,
just kind of eroded back.
Right.
yeah, 'cause it's shallow in there,
Yeah.
there's not much water.
There's not
So-
another one.
You're not going any further?
No, we're not changing any dimensions.
And is it a two-slip boat slip?
Yep.
Or is there just a dock for access, a floating dock down the center?
There's a floating
It's
dock
hard
in the
to
middle
tell.
of this large slip that
Okay.
allows for two boats.
Okay.
Yeah,
That way you don't have to have a walkway around it.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
It's a
There's
good
no
plan.
walkway proposed around
No,
it.
No,
Yeah, no.
which
no,
is
because
good.
Right,
it's, it's right down.
native
the
No,
Bush.
they get right down to the float and they can get on the
It's
boat.
18-inch capping
Yeah.
essentially with walkway.
Yeah, but it's
No cheating
relatively
wood.
So
high.
basically, you're replacing exactly what's there, but with
Compliant
Modernizing
materials.
it.
material.
Yeah, and you got a ladder in there.
But you,
Got a
and you
little-
got an 18-inch elevation change?
We're requesting it, that is a low bulkhead,
Yeah, but it's not holding back anything but wetlands.
just storm water, that's it.
It's surrounded by marsh, as is most of this area,
Mhm.
as is the island.
Do you have
Right.
pictures
So-
of, is there pictures here?
There's significant amount of marsh that's
Yeah.
absorbing water there.
Yeah.
So I think that elevation change in this area is not necessary.
Yeah, I don't see this necessary that it's gonna protect anything, it's just gonna be an access point, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does get flooded, even though the little walk-around deck that's there, which we're removing and replacing with a smaller deck, or cap, that gets overtopped.
Right, but it's marsh that it's
It is
going
marsh,
into,
yeah.
which
Yeah, it's-
absorbs.
there's
You don't
no
really- You don't really
erosion.
need to go up
There's no erosion in the area, and there's no structure that's gonna be
there.
needed to be protected, so
Okay.
I mean, I would like to see it left status quo, because I don't wanna
agreed.
increase it and cause erosion or change the environment.
Yeah, in the
Yep.
wind.
Okay,
This-
we can
I
agree
think
with that.
those times of overtopping, I don't think are gonna create a
Okay.
drastic problem on the owner based on the usage of this and based on the fact that generally the boats, the vessels are accessed by that floating dock.
James.
So I concur on this one.
James, if you go back to the
Cool.
aerial, you'll
Oh, that's
see
fine.
that
Yeah, I
this is a
think we'll-
vacant lot
Mhm.
that's owned by the bayfront owner across the street, right,
Exactly.
Billy? So
That's
there's
correct.
a walkway
Yeah.
through the marsh to the slip.
That's
So
right.
a rise in elevation is,
It's
Yeah.
not really warranted.
It's a nice productive wetland, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it
And-
alone.
And I'd like to see the bulkhead be, at least most of it be vibrated in, not jetted in,
Yes, exactly right.
because that's really important in the area, or
Yeah,
pounded in.
It's all
Because-
barge work, there's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. How do you-
destabilization of the wetland around it would not be to
Yeah.
anybody's advantage.
Exactly, and that's why we're not proposing any tie rods or deadmen at all.
So I'd say dimensions as is, I think it's a good project.
Elevation
And
is,
keep height the
Elevation
same.
as is,
New cover sheet, new
Yes.
plans showing
No change in height.
yeah.
and an 18-inch capping, I think, is more than sufficient for what you need. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I can get that to you for review before engineers. Okay,
Russell Lane.
Russell Lane. Oh, yeah,
Pink Ginger Limited.
there are four, of them. Okay. Pink Ginger. This is a revetment. We did get a review by Conservation. They said it's all yours.
Okay.
Yes.
Lucky you guys. But this is a revetment that was installed right after Sandy. And it got hit several times with the past winter storms. It just needs repair and rebuild.
Well, you're not gonna make it any higher, right?
Not gonna make it any higher.
And you're not gonna go seaward any further.
No, we're actually going landward because part of it is over on the right-of-ways property,
Yes.
so that has to be removed
Yes, it does.
and put onto, we are extending it a little bit landward along that property line. You can see that.
Okay, you're making a return there.
Exactly.
I want to make sure when it's surveyed that it's clearly depicted,
Everything's on the property.
because there's been a lot of issues with people on their right-of-way.
Yes.
Where the material is placed on their right-of-way.
Yep.
So I want to make sure this is cleaned up.
So I'm looking at the
So-
recommendations from Chairman Ludlow and
As am I,
as Conservation Board, which is
yeah.
directly pointing out the need for,
Sand replenishment
And
and
further
native
vegetation.
vegetation,
Mhm.
landward, and not, not increasing the size of the revetment.
do we have
Yeah.
pictures of this here?
Well, I mean, it was originally an unprotected beach, and Sandy and other storms have taken quite a toll on the property.
Mhm.
We did permit the rocks to be placed there, and I believe there's a sand management clause in the original permit that there needed to be sand maintained on
Has it
it.
ever been
No.
maintained? So
They're not holding up their end of the bargain there, and also, or the end of the arrangement, and also there, if you look at the aerial, that, from what I can see, and Billy, correct me, there is a bulkhead down a couple properties to the
Yes.
west, but most of it to the east is all natural shoreline.
So that property there, directly to the east after the right-of-way?
Yes.
Has a
South.
very, south, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Has a, there's actually a, in that photo,
Oh.
there's a buried revetment that's almost the same.
Okay,
It's exposed now.
okay,
And they were built at the same time.
okay.
So the idea would be to get this structure off of the right-of-way. It doesn't show the property line properly there, but get it off the right-of-way, rebuild it, cover it with sand, and replant everything.
Well, I thought the initial idea of this rock revetment was to place it there to break up the wave energy, to slow the erosion upland, and isn't that pretty much what it has done?
It has, I mean, you could see from the photos that it's eroded quite a bit landward of it. So
But that's where you need to replace the sand and
That's exactly-
revegetate.
Yep.
I mean, this,
is there a design?
stru-
I mean, it's just, I'm looking at this thing here, I mean,
The way that was put in was kind of, it did have filter fabric, it didn't have a base layer of, so the
Crushed
stones are
stones.
all,
Yeah, moved.
they moved.
yeah, they were very large stones.
There's
and
no
they were,
bedding
and they-
underneath the fabric.
Exactly.
there was no initial foundation for it to be laid on.
Right, they were laid on filter fabric, but just
That's it.
laid directly on it.
No, no
It was a
substrate.
very quick job right after Sandy to preserve that upland. It did its job, but to an extent, after it's been exposed to many storms, it lost a lot of that fill, so it took away a lot of vegetation and fill, so part of this is to replace
that
that.
problem's not gonna go away.
But you're looking to replace the area that was
Maintenance
eroded
issue.
behind the initial rock revetment with more rocks?
Sand, and we're gonna rearrange the rocks that are there,
Okay.
add a little bit just for the base, and then put in sand and
So
beach grass.
are you gonna pull out the whole entire structure and actually put a
Rebed it.
a
yes.
rebed there so that it could be more stabilized?
Exactly.
And you're not gonna elevate it anymore,
No change in
and you're not gonna
elevation.
go any more landward.
No,
It's just taking what is there, reconfiguring the rocks so they do a better job.
exactly.
But is there a different, like go back to the picture if you, I mean,
The overhead or the picture?
that one there, it just said if you, I mean, I don't know what engineer's designing this stuff, but, you know,
It looks very sloppy.
it's like, what's gonna work the best in the attenuation side of this thing? How you get a thriving wetland to attenuate that wave action so you don't get so much of the erosion and scour. It just looks like more of a attempt
yeah,
at doing a
sure.
bulkhead.
Sorry.
Well,
with rocks, you know
the
what I mean?
scour was not even noticed there, to tell you the truth, even after a lot of the storms. The sand supply there is healthy. So, what is noticeable is the landward erosion, and that needs to be restored and planted. And that might be something that they will be attending to more frequently, like every 5 or 10 years.
that 5 or 10 years.
So I,
Depends on the
2 or
weather.
3 years.
I
It seems
just,
like it's gotta be a lot sooner than that. I mean, you
You
know,
never
because
know.
you don't, you lose the benefit of it all if it doesn't really take, you know what I mean? It's like, then you just running the risk for pushing that overtop erosion further landward.
Yeah.
So you know, that I think is the problem in a lot of the theory of this, is that, you know, the maintenance of this has gotta be,
Keyed in.
otherwise it doesn't work.
and also, I'm just looking at the boulders that are here
Mm-hmm.
are, the bottom ones are 3-ton boulders. So what is the dimension of a 3-ton boulder
That's
approximately?
like 2.5 by 2.5 by
Right.
2.5, something like that.
Right.
Maybe 3 by 3, somewhere in that
I
range.
pick those up all the time.
Yeah, no problem. Scott's
your
gonna be
workout.
working on this job with
Well, I mean,
And then the ones above it are 1 to 3 ton.
Yeah, it gets progressively smaller as it goes up. And that's kind of what they were trying to do there, but it didn't.
yeah, here's a picture of,
Did you guys do this one originally, or?
No, we didn't.
Somebody else
I think
did.
that was.
So you're trying
Justin.
to,
Well, yeah, and we knew that.
I
when
know
we
the
did that, it was great.
contractor, but I'm not gonna mention names.
Okay, don't know. I thought it was someone
And,
else. but-
and what's the situation with the road entrance that abuts it to the
It's a
right-of-way.
south?
It's a right of way for a bunch of the property owners.
Private road.
It gets a lot of velocity through with runoff. And that's what's causing some of this erosion when the stormwater comes down this road, this dirt road. It'll come right down onto the beach. So we have to extend that return so it doesn't wash out inside. And that's kind of what's been happening. It actually directs itself inside the revetment and takes the soil with wave runoff discharge as well as with stormwater.
Oh, yeah, here's my notes. Yes, yearly sand.
yearly.
It's
Yeah,
right,
the sand. There
it's
you
my
go.
notes.
So when,
Okay.
how many years did they get sand?
This was issued in 2014.
So how
So
many years?
9 years
Do you
ago.
have any idea?
I don't know.
I don't think at all.
I don't know.
So that's the thing, that's what I was saying, is that if you stay on the maintenance side of it, you got a chance.
Well, that's interesting. I saw that same feature, because that makes sense. I don't think the property owners knew that. I think they would have, continued that.
So there's
Yeah.
been a transfer
Yeah,
Not that
since
it's,
Yeah.
of
no, it's the same
ownership.
property owners, but it's the daughter that's taking over for the father.
Okay.
So.
So you take your Crestor one time and you wonder why your cholesterol's through the roof, right?
Well, I mean, these rocks are pretty vertical, and I know on some of the projects, the plans don't actually reflect what was built.
Mhm.
You know, if you're gonna dig this up and rebed it, maybe take the stones that are there and make them less vertical and a
Yeah.
little bit more, like on an angle
Yeah,
for
with the cross
wave
section, we are
attenuation.
pitching them back.
Yes.
As opposed to being a vertical wall.
Well, this one here this one is not pitched.
Not at all.
They're literally.
It's a straight.
It's a straight.
You wanna see
yeah.
this? This is the pictures.
And I agree with you, Ed. We found that if you do pitch it back, you get a lot more distribution of the wave energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, you gotta
Yeah.
attenuate that wave action, because
Yeah,
otherwise
right now
you're
it's a
just,
wall.
Yeah.
you're making just a bulkhead out of.
You can use a lot of the same rocks.
We're gonna use a lot of the same rocks, yes.
But you're adding to it.
We're adding the bedding. Most of it's the bedding, which is the smaller rocks that keep the bigger rocks from moving
Yeah.
on
Well,
filtered
it's
fabric.
critical that they don't slide any further seaward, because then you're gonna lose the public access along the beach.
Right.
And that was,
And the
that
land
was the
behind.
big issue initially,
Mhm.
was to protect that access.
The thing
So
is-
we're, oops, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ann.
Well, I'm just saying, so we're not adding to the armoring of the shoreline. We're repositioning?
We're adding a 40 tons of riprap and 120 tons of basically it's gonna be the 1 ton. Because it doesn't have a nice mixture of the stone. It has a lot of 3-ton, and then it's got a handful of smaller
So
stone.
you're
That's
gonna be
on
adding a
top.
lot, that's a lot of tons.
So.
Well, compared to what's there, it's-
They stayed on. the
Maybe it's
plan-
20%.
But
They stayed on the plan that existed in rock equals approximately 0.5 tons per linear foot per proposed final rock removement total equals approximately 1.8 tons per linear foot.
Right.
That's a significant increase in armoring.
It's 300%.
Yeah, I mean, it is an increase, but a lot of that is the bedding. And the smaller, medium-sized stone that goes to give us that pitch.
Mark, how do we enforce the yearly sand replenishment?
When we've done it before, it's been with covenants and restrictions that ran with the land filed, like I believe you did with Mr. Malkinson's near Honey Pot Pond. I don't think that was done in this case.
No, it wasn't.
There's no covenant.
No, there wasn't. We didn't
Just in the
start,
notes?
we didn't start the covenants in
Conditions
for,
on the,
well, we started them on Shinnecock Beach Road because we actually owned that right of way. Here was a different situation. This was done on a private property, and at the time, our attorney advised us that we just put the sand maintenance in there the way it was written on the permit. And basically, once the permit is, signed off on, that sand maintenance, from what you have told us, is null and void.
Yeah.
So
So-
we need
so-
something more substantial for a longer period of time.
So we have monitoring clauses with our living shorelines. Can we do something like that with this so that someone, building inspector, or someone
Ask
goes
Mark.
down there or has some sort of
Good idea.
communication with either the consultant or the property owner at a certain time each year, this sand replacement is to be done. We do it, or it's done with the bulkhead down at the end of Flying Point Road
Right,
on
you-
the ocean.
Yeah, you
So-
could do it, but the enforceability part is kind of questionable there. It's not a,
We can put
Vi-
it on the property owner and on the consultant.
you can, but at some point that permit's gonna be granted, and there's gonna be a certificate saying
Ha.
you've met it. So I don't think you have a mechanism for holding that permit open ad infinitum while they keep annually or monthly, meeting requirements.
Yeah, that was
When-
the, there's no way to
When
do,
the
there's no way to do
bulkhead-
that when you have a
when-
requirement like this, because, I mean,
There,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
when the bulkhead was granted at the end of Flying Point Road in the 1980s, there was a sand covenant that each year they are responsible for that renourishment and covering of that bulkhead. Is that not your project?
The Flying Point Road?
Yes.
We work for them now, but we didn't install
That was
that
the,
No,
originally.
no, no, I'm
that
not
was the
saying-
building department that issued it, not the trustees.
Right, no, I know that. So this was not a trustee approval, and you had nothing to do it originally, but under what enforcement is that, how
It
is
probably,
that done each
it's probably not enforcement, it's probably the homeowners that
The
want
homeowners
to, they want to do the right thing,
encourage-
they
yeah,
want to, they
do
want
it.
to keep their stuff
Yes.
proper,
So
so
how-
they're on it, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
versus other people that are not on it.
So how do we incentivize this homeowner
question.
to do?
Well, you would
The
think
same
that
thing.
they would be incentivized in the fact of maintaining their integrity of their property, which is requiring this activity for it to occur, because here we are.
Well, good point, because the daughter that is now taking over this property for her parents is very concerned and came to us like, hey, I'm losing land, I should be putting sand on top of this, and rebuilding it. So they're
You could do
aware of
Something
it.
like you did on Far Pond with the sand replenishment contract.
Yeah.
But the problem is after it's inspected, after it's signed off on what Mark is saying, to go back and reopen it becomes problematic. Is that what you're saying?
Well, along the lines of what trustees, Parrish is saying, the issue's been addressed before and it's been handled by beach nourishment agreement.
Yeah.
And covenants and restrictions that run with the land, because of course, even though you may have a motivated homeowner now, they could transfer the property and the next owner may not be as motivated. So that's probably the best way to do it. It's the way we've done it in the past. We do that here if you like, prior to the granting of the permit
Well,
application.
let's work on some verbiage on a
the
contract
best
that
way
we
you can
could,
Okay.
really, this is a
Makes sense.
specific piece of property. And as a trustee, our main mission is to protect what is seaward of this
Yes.
structure.
And
That's
that's
the-
and
the public's
replenishment.
access.
And the
Right.
public
Yes.
access, just
Absolutely.
that abuts it.
Yeah.
And can we monitor it once a year, after they have it inspected once a year, or to monitor?
Yeah,
and
at
see
the
if
cost,
they-
at the
you give
cost
it-
of the, property owner.
They give an affidavit that it doesn't need it, or that they,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something, working with Mark or whichever attorney is going to work on this, hopefully, the town has done stuff like this on other properties. so that we could basically, copy and paste it on our permit, and not recreate the wheel. So, but that's why this hasn't come up, this permit hasn't been reviewed right away, because I wanted to make sure this conversation was had before we move forward on it. So, Mark, you want to take this task on, and I'll gladly sit with you, because I'm very familiar with the area, and I was on the board when we first issued this permit, so I'm familiar with the whole scenario and kind of how it's evolved.
But like it clearly states here, clean sand will be placed on rock revetment annually from date of permit, period. So
Project
The
is that-
thing
this
is,
one, but
yeah.
that's the original permit
Right.
from
See, this is my
2014.
notes.
and the bigger issue is
Yes.
you'll be back here with the
Yes.
same issue. On different properties.
Yeah.
So, but the bottom line is, so to Mark's task, he's got to figure out how to resolve this issue,
Figure out some kind of formula that works with it.
right? So that
Yeah.
As you suggested.
there's consistency in the nourishment and enforceability of the nourishment.
Could do a
Otherwise,
sand replenishment
Well,
agreement.
Similar to the Shinnecock Road, or the
Yes.
beach road in Shinnecock.
But we
That's-
own that, that's a
Yeah.
difference, so,
Right,
it-
right,
it-
you have
it would-
one more.
well, we actually, it's our property in front of this, so it would go within front of it and on top of it
Mm-hmm.
to maintain the applicant's property with sand and grass, and whatever issues lie beyond that.
all right,
Okay,
so
all
Mark's
right.
got his work cut out for him.
All right, happy to work with you on that, Mark, and we'll loop in the owner's attorney.
Okay, no problem.
Do you have one more? Yes.
I think I do.
34 Westbridge Road.
Yeah, West Hampton. We had this one on last meeting, I think, right?
Right, and that was,
Is reconstruct in place of approximately 180 feet of existing bulkhead, increased top elevation. You originally asked for 18 inches.
that's right.
You've now come down to 8 inches.
So this is another boat slip.
This is a boat slip, yep. Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else other than the elevation that was at issue?
Um, You guys, essentially doing what the neighbor did next door.
I think it was just primarily the
Elevation.
elevation that was the sticking point.
So, this property, there's marsh to the north,
Mhm.
but there's lawn that abuts the bulkhead, on the north side of the boat slip,
Right now there is.
but then there's marsh that is north of the gazebo or is that a gazebo?
It's
The
a deck.
It's a deck.
Just a deck.
Yeah.
Sorry, deck.
So the lawn doesn't start until about, I don't know, 20 feet landward of where that deck is, the
Right.
larger deck. But yes, and that would be replaced with native vegetation 10 feet behind.
And
Beach
then,
grass. They're
Beach grass, right.
Proposing 10 feet from the walkway,
and then,
all along the bulkhead.
and then the property to the west, if you go back to the aerial, the property to the west is native vegetation, no, sorry, to the west.
North?
Like at the top of the boat slip, no,
Oh, sorry.
so to the west, like at the
Oh,
end
I
of the
see what
boat
you're
slip,
saying.
that's
Yeah.
native vegetation, that's, right,
That's Phragmites right now,
all of it?
all of it. You can see the cedars, but, or whatever they are, junipers, they're gonna be removed, and beach grass put in.
Are those trees healthy?
They are-ish. I don't know, is there ground photos that show them?
If they're healthy, most would leave them in.
I mean, I
The
think
beach
they're
grass around it.
junipers, I don't think they're cedars, but if that matters, the junipers are native.
That's disturbance.
Yeah.
Well, you need a tieback system, right? Dead men and lay logs?
Yeah, if they're in the way.
They're in the way.
Anyway,
That's the problem.
Hard to tell. Is it Phragmites?
I don't see the need here for increase in elevation for the boat slip. The only concern would be, at what elevation the adjoining bulkhead is for the adjoining property on the south side.
Yeah, I think that's what we discussed maybe you weren't here.
No, I
that's
was
right.
here, but
Oh, you weren't.
I'm not.
I
I'm
think you
not-
were supposed
I
to
think-
find out how high
Yeah,
that
something
is.
like
What's
four
the
to
Yeah.
4 to 6
difference
inches.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you go a couple over,
Yeah,
right?
gives
for
us
a
the
lip.
4-inch lip,
Right, so,
so that's the 8-inch.
right. Here.
It's
here.
not a
Yeah.
large increase. Again,
So
all I
it's
see,
it's to match the adjoining.
the grade will match.
And then you got a lip.
Then you got a 4-inch lip above what's existing there, which keeps the, meets the blue book, because we need that 4-inch section, decrease in elevation landward of the bulkhead for grade.
I thought we all agreed on the 8 inches the last time.
Yeah, I thought we were past this already.
Yeah.
You remember, James?
Do you guys?
Yeah, no,
I'd
it's
say,
specifically
it's
8
definitely
inches.
a dis-
Right,
it's
say
definitely
8 inch.
discussed last.
That's what I thought we were.
Yeah,
Where are you at on this, trustee Parrish?
I was in agreement with the 8-inch. I think that was the only issue that was outstanding.
Right, 8,
Yeah.
not 18.
Yeah,
exactly.
so,
Trustee Pell?
I'm fine with the 8 inches. And a ladder too.
Ladder.
Someone falls in the boat, so there's no way to get out.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Okay.
And an osprey pole,
And an osprey pole.
Two.
Okay. All right.
just one's good.
I can put in one.
There's area for it.
You know,
Yeah.
that's just a suggestion, obviously.
Right.
It's not a condition.
Yeah.
Trustee Warner,
yeah, I'm good.
trustee Welker.
And you've heard my thoughts.
I think that's it for me with you guys.
So, we need stamp plans for that, right?
Yep,
And
Stamp
you're
plan.
gonna add the ladder to the plans and the cover sheet?
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And an osprey pole.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you guys
All
very
right.
much.
Good, Bill. So we'll be in touch then to go look at Water's Edge.
Yes.
Yes.
with
Thank you.
Right, Scott.
So now we've got trustee Warner back up. We have Ed Consultants, right? 1377 Meadow?
Yes. I don't see them here.
Nobody here for that? Do we need the consultant to discuss this, or are we gonna spin our wheels, or?
What's it for?
It's to remove an existing 5.5 foot by 15-foot fixed platform and construct a fixed timber kayak consisting of 4 foot by 46 raised fixed timber catwalk constructed entirely of untreated materials, including light penetrating decking, open grate decking, and a 4x8 stairs at the seaward end as depicted on plans stamped October 5th, 2022, stamped and sealed by Nick Mazzarini. Mazzafarro.
This was actually approved by the board, but it was recently voided as they didn't renew it. So they're reapplying for
They're-
it as a regular application.
Right,
Yes.
But it was already pre-approved.
Yes. So, we've already discussed this once, and it's consistent with, in the Doug Lagoon, there are a couple other docks that are very similar, or actually similar to this, so I recommend we move it ahead.
I'm fine with it. Trustee Parrish?
I'm fine with
Trustee Pell?
I'm good with it.
Trustee Welker?
Just how long does it project out into the Dug Lagoon?
Not far.
Not far, it literally
Oh.
goes to, I got plans.
Like 10 feet or something, so
Yeah.
it's consistent with the one to the east?
Yes,
It's just stairs to the water essentially.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it goes stairs to the water.
Okay,
You good? Advance?
yep.
Let's go to trustee Welker's application.
30 Harry's Lane. Noyak, Suffolk Environmental.
Morning, board.
Good morning.
Good morning, nice to see you. I feel like we haven't seen you in a while.
Everybody keeps
We
saying that. I
missed you.
thought I was just here. Okay, Andy, I'm gonna walk everybody through, or?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a property over in Noyak. I was brought in on this, about 6 months ago, by the homeowner, Kathy Muller. And she was talking about, you know, she had lost a good portion of her shoreline. I went down there during a high tide. Actually, let me pass these out, actually.
Oh, that's what I was just gonna do.
Yeah,
Do you have
I have actually additional
photos?
ones.
They just need to be stamped in.
Okay.
So you have photos of the shoreline map?
Yeah,
Okay, great,
to just supplement.
thank you.
And I went down there just to have a look. I mean, everybody always is, you know, calling and saying, oh, my shoreline's eroding, and everybody's in a panic. I went down there, looked at it, and it does look like it's receiving a substantial amount of erosion. How and why is the question that I've been trying to figure out, along with the dock contractor, exactly why this particular shoreline is receiving this erosion. You can see that there's an existing dock on the property. When it was built during high tide, it still met the shoreline. As of now, you gotta walk through water to get to it during high tide. The owner, and I think it was her father, I believe, who owned the property before her, they planted, I believe, groundsel along the shoreline, which has now become pretty substantial, pretty healthy looking. They're being undermined now by this ongoing erosion as well. So, I mean, it seems like she's got pretty good grounds to be a little fearful of what's going on. You know, we kicked around some ideas. You know, obviously, everybody wants to do a full-on bulkhead. I said you can't get a bulkhead permit out here whatsoever. We talked about biologs. In this case, you know, again, I'm not sure if biologs are gonna be the solution on this. So we came down to low sill, explained what a low sill bulkhead was to her. And she seemed pretty good with that idea. So that's what we drew up. And that's what we have here before you guys. So it's gonna be stretch across the shoreline about 102 feet, I believe, with returns on either side, 10 foot, each side kicking back towards the land. And then the areas landward of that, which is shown on the first page of the site plan, of the overall plans, we're gonna install wetland planting, Spartina, alterniflora. And again, as you all know, low sill, it'll be inundated once, twice a day behind it. But we're hoping that this will resolve the problem over there.
So the goal here is to gain access to her dock?
I mean, that's secondary? No, it's just to stop this erosion that's going on. I mean, did you guys look at the aerial photographs that were submitted?
These, no.
It just kind of gives you, you know, a chronological idea of what's been going on there, starting from 2013.
Oh, you did a time lapse. That was my next question.
Yeah. So they started 2013, and it, just, you know what, pay attention also to the mud flats just to the north.
Yep.
They're rapidly going away. I don't know exactly why, but she's quickly losing that whole shoreline over there. So the primary goal is to hopefully stop the erosion.
Is this grass
That's it.
disappearing from the neighbors too?
What's that? That's to the
There's
north,
time.
yeah.
That's disappearing, you say?
To the, yeah, there's that little area to the north of the dock on our side.
And that's going smaller too?
It's getting smaller, yeah. You can see, the aerials are better, actually. Have a look at the aerials.
The aerials.
Wow.
They're-
I have them on right
Yeah,
now. This is
So-
18.
So, and so that's basically, the primary is, again, to stop the erosion.
mhm.
You know, secondary is, you know, if we're allowed to do the low sill, then we'd probably come in or modify the permit to just extend the dock landward, just to connect in there.
Can you
So-
give us, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
Here's the arrows.
so there's
This is-
I see
clay,
that, just wondering the current, like,
There's
see, like, the
clay.
whole area, trying to figure out what's going on.
right, there's clay that's to the north of this.
Well, that, I
al-
mean, that's, those are
Along 4 or
mud.
5 properties, you're calling it mud flat, but it's clay. It's a
Yeah, I mean,
solid
yeah, it goes to
substrate.
the north, yeah.
And then
bog.
you have sand, yeah, so there's bog, and then you have sand that's for a couple properties in between. And that, the difference in substrate is probably what's causing some of this erosion and just the movement of water within the creek.
But how do you explain the undermining of, that's what I'm worried about. You know, you have that healthy fringe of vegetation along the top of that.
Right.
That's the problem. I mean, I don't know if that's caused by, any kind of drift. And again, it's happening so quickly.
Is it boat wake?
We don't want to say that. It could be. I mean, the activity in that cove is,
It's a 5-mile-an-hour area,
So-
this
Well,
whole entire,
yeah.
Yeah.
Are they adhering to that?
Well, that's the question. I
yeah,
mean,
but why
That's what I
is
was
this
getting at
only
with
one
this whole thing.
specific property
I
taking?
don't know. I
mean,
have no
look at-
idea. I mean, I've heard, I met with Jeff Backey out there. Jeff was saying it may be just, I don't know, the way that, if you get a good northeaster coming in somehow, it's going directly down
That's
that
what I
channel.
was- So where's the no-wake zone start?
The whole thing.
The
The
whole,
whole thing, right?
The whole thing,
So it's
yeah.
not a matter of throttle up, throttle down, so.
No. But that marina is very busy and to the point of the Hidden Cove, the residents about Hidden Cove, there are large boats coming in and out of the channel. But Matt, to your point,
Mhm.
with nor'easters,
That was our best guess.
Yeah, because if the boats are going at 5, they're just sliding through the water. I don't see them.
And the other thing too is I think this happened, this has been going on a little bit prior to, seeing large boats coming in there. I can't say that that's the major cause of it.
Right.
when was the catwalk put in?
The catwalk was put in, that's a good question. I think, actually, I can tell you after. So on the survey from 73, it's not shown. I think it was during the 80s that it was put in.
Right, and is it flooding on full moon high tides, or is it
If it's a
flooding-
good tide, yeah, she said it does come up a little bit past the groundsel along that edge. I mean, Ann, do you want to go out there and have a look at this? I was actually gonna see if you wanted to meet.
I-
And James, you want to go too?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can go with you, yeah.
Yeah, I think the
I-
pictures are good, but I was actually gonna, suggest that. The pictures are good, but going out there, because again, yeah, we get these calls all the time, people are panicking. But in this case, I mean, something's happening there.
Where are you at with the state on this?
Everything's pending, I haven't received any feedback yet.
Back
It should
out.
be happening soon.
No, go, zoom out. Zoom in a little bit. Do you think that dock, that long dock is like a jetty?
no.
No.
The one at the marina?
No.
Not that marina, the private marina for the,
No, the one to the north?
Right
The
down,
one-
right there.
If anything,
I
it
mean,
would
it's
break
not
the wave action, Billy.
Yeah, would lessen some
The
of the
float
energy.
would break the wave
Might,
action.
because it might be, looks like something's causing an eddy there, they heat it up.
Yeah, but it's specifically to that one property, which
Yeah,
is,
it's weird.
Yeah.
and you go all the way out and you look at the channel and, I mean, it's, what is it, half a mile north of there, the channel runs to the, Noyak Bay. And it's
See
such a
the
narrow
white-
channel, I don't see a lot of wave action coming down there.
Yeah.
No.
It's just exasperated in the past couple of years. I mean, again, going back to the aerials. But I think if I would say if you can, let's go out to it, just have
Okay.
a look. Because
all right.
I think that'll be really helpful. And you can meet Kathy. Would you want to try next week? I'll call you.
Mhm.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions?
If you were there Saturday, it'd be really flooded.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and James and I'll do a field trip.
You got an extra one of those.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Glad to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Yeah. See you soon.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Green Harbor LLC, 12 Green Street, Village of Sag Harbor, Thomas Johan. Is there anybody here on this
Green Harbor?
12 Green Street? Right, so this is James, feel free to chime in here. This is a permit that was approved by the trustees, and renewed, but, it expired before it was it renewed 4 times? Help me with that
How
explanation.
many years ago was it granted?
3,
3 years. Permit's 4 years old.
yeah. So, there's some confusion here, because we don't have up-to-date plans. The dock was built in the center of the property, and our plans show that it was to have been built on the west side of the property
From the original permit.
from the original permit.
Okay.
There are 2 different, there was one applicant, one consultant that did the original permit, and then that applied for the original permit, and then someone else who followed through and built it. So I really think we need to have somebody here to explain
I
this to us.
agree, I agree with you. I was
Yeah,
thinking, as you were
'cause
saying it, I was thinking
it's
it.
Yeah, what are
just-
they asking for?
I think we would also need an as-built survey for
Right.
what they built.
So let's put it on hold, and let's
Okay.
contact them and tell them they have to come into the next work session.
Okay,
Because otherwise, we're just gonna,
spin our wheels. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay, so we'll hold that pending.
Absolutely. Somebody's showing up to breathe some
Discussion.
life into it.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Somebody's showing up to breathe some life into what is
Yep.
going on there.
Yes, for sure. And then finally, Mr. Walker, 258 Horse Mill Lane in Watermill.
Mr. Walker.
How are you?
Hey, Jim?
Okay,
Thank you for
Good
coming.
morning.
Morning, Jim.
this is a wetlands project. There's nothing else to it. It's common reed management. We've done a number of these on creeks and ponds off of Mecox. This is a kind of a big property. And cutting the wetlands here will result in native wetlands coming back. It's a protected little pond. Pretty spectacular property.
And are you also applying for, like, the going to the Conservation Board for the adjoining?
Yeah, we're in front of the Conservation Board. The Conservation Board also requires revegetation of a buffer. It doesn't really involve the Board of Trustees much, but we do have a buffer planting plan, which Jim Grimes prepared.
Is this the first time this stuff's been cut?
Legally?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for. I don't want to hear what they do at night.
It's absolutely the first time.
Okay, that's good.
Cutting Phragmites using the Marty Shea protocol works. The bottom line is you get rid of the common reed management by cutting it, especially over the water. Over the water is easier than over the land, but over the water where the Board of Trustees are, when you cut the Phragmites down below the water and you have water in the winter and ice during the winter, it kills the Phragmites and the rhizomes turn black and die. They rot. And then what you have, and the Board of Trustees have been involved with some of these projects, then you have narrow-leaf cattail, marsh hibiscus, Joe Pye weed, and chairmaker's rush, soft rush start to grow in. It grows in by itself. We don't plant that stuff out. There is a planting required for the Conservation Board that is upland close to the house.
That makes
Kind of-
sense.
Kind of out of the trustees' jurisdiction, but we're in front of the New York State DEC, we're in front of Conservation Board, and we're in front of Board of Trustees, so I would encourage the trustees to approve the project so I can go back to the state, so I can go back to the Conservation Board and tell them we're making progress.
This is a significant area of Phragmites. We've had success on Mecox. in Swan Creek,
Yes.
and
Swan
with,
Creek?
with the cutting of Phragmites.
Sam's Creek.
Sam's Creek, both. With the cutting of Phragmites, it is repetitive in nature, but as Jim is saying, it comes back, the native vegetation comes through. We have photos of other properties in various seasons that show how successful it's been. I think that this is a really good project.
Advance it.
I think it looks good.
Thank you.
This is what happens, these projects come along after we get a dredging permit to be able to manage the water level in Mecox and keep the salinity a little higher. With the higher salinity, these Phragmites will not flourish, right, Jim?
You should expect that they're gonna work from a boat too, Ed.
Yes.
Because cutting it, sounds great at low tide, but you can't walk in that little pond.
No.
So they'll be out there with a boat. Jimmy Grimes' crew will work from a boat. They'll cut it as low as they can. And when the water's high during the winter and the ice comes in, it's gonna shear it and turn it black and it's gonna rot and die.
Where
Good.
else have they done it from a boat successfully?
Where? Sam's Creek,
Oh, they did that?
55 Ambleside.
Okay.
Yeah, they did it from a boat because they didn't have any choice. We kept telling them to go out there and cut it again.
Okay.
We have Southampton Town Conservation Board permits to do that. When you try to do it and the bay is high, that's harder. As long as you have a small boat and a seasoned crew, it's manageable. It works, it's reliable, there's no plant back, it's expensive. You have to have a committed property owner, otherwise it's not worth it.
Good.
Yeah, but it's successful.
Thank you, Jim.
Works.
Yeah, thank you, Jim,
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
very much.
All right, trustee Parish.
We have Stephen Probst, 187 Evergreen Road in Flanders, Jeffrey Pantano.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
Does everybody have plans? I got a couple here if you need. I printed out like 6, so I'll send a couple that way and a couple that way.
You wanna step on it?
So this project, I believe this was submitted some time ago, and it just made its way to the board to review. We currently have a DEC permit for this work.
Just click that.
It includes the removal and replacement of the existing bulkhead, raise in height 18 inches above existing. Also includes the removal of the big oversized timber fixed dock. There's a huge fixed dock out over the water here. I think it's like 16 by 20, 22 or something like that. So we want to remove that and put in a 4-foot wide by 15-foot long fixed pier, a ramp down to a floating dock, and a boat lift. Water depths are shown on the plan, and they were also submitted to the trustees. We have good water here for a boat, and I also included on here the pier line to show that it doesn't extend out beyond any of the neighboring piers and become a problem to navigation. And if you notice, it's a wide area here.
What type of lift you doing there? I was looking at these new lifts that they have with no pilings and just a, kind of a netting or something. You see these things?
No, I haven't. I know they've,
Yeah, the arms go out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw this new environmentally, it's a lot less invasive and just,
I haven't seen one
you
of
should
them
do
yet.
some research.
Okay. Yeah, he wants 10,000-pound boat lift to support his boat. He's got like a 35-footer or something like that.
You should take a look at, at other things that are available to this. Now, I started to do a little research on this as well.
Okay.
Can you describe it again?
I'll show you. It's kind of like a netting, and it's just two things. There's no pilings. It's like less intrusive. I just started doing the research on it.
Interesting.
Down
How does
low, gets the boat right up and
how does
out.
it lift it? I've seen the ones on the pontoons that you
Yeah,
they fill with water or air or
I
whatever.
think there's 2 arms will go out from the.
back of it.
Oh, there's
back.
got okay. So, all right,
Yeah.
so it's definitely
Yeah, I
arms.
think it's like off the bulkhead, the one I saw.
Yeah, I gotta I just started doing the research and then I got interrupted because,
You have to
these
look in
things,
Florida about
these things, yeah, I mean, they're always coming up with new ideas to get these boats, up and out of the water
Yeah.
and
I
safe.
think it's almost like a travel lift kind of thing.
Right, like the forklift. We have to look
Yeah.
at the cost involved with those and the pile sizes to go in.
Yeah.
Because now you're transferring all that weight to 1 or 2 piles instead of 4. So it'd be bigger piles and bigger
Yeah.
structures.
I see something new in work session here. I got a guy with his hand up.
Yeah, just want to
You
say,
can't-
I'm Mr. Probst, I'm here.
Are you okay? You could come up here if you
Yeah.
want, because you really can't speak from there. so.
Yeah, we don't get your,
You can
Yeah,
sign
you
in
can,
too.
you can sign in and we can sit here.
yeah,
Good
the
morning.
issues
How
with
you
the
doing?
older boat lifts is the size of the pilings and the structure on top of the pilings
Right.
to raise it. Aesthetically, it doesn't look good.
Right.
I mean, we're trying to minimize the, the negative
We
look.
want the ones without,
Yeah,
it's actually what we're looking at is a 12,000-pound boat lift without those look, because we don't want that when we look at our back.
yeah, I mean, we would like to see the, the proposed lift before we,
The cut sheet for the actual.
Right,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
do some research on this.
Yeah.
Do some research on this.
Yeah.
Because like, to his point, he doesn't want to look at all this.
No,
And I
absolutely.
think there are maybe better ways to do this.
Okay.
I do feel very protective of the water. For me, it's an important thing, I have grandchildren, I want to make sure that we're here long-term. And I have not been using any kind of fertilizer in the back at all. I'm really trying to be conscious about it. And for me, putting the boat lift in removes having to paint the bottom of the boat with anti-fouling paint.
yes.
And, that's environmentally
Yes.
impactful, so there's a lot to it, and, I want to be cognizant of that. So,
Yeah, I mean, then you get the view sheds and you got the engineering, you're talking about, like you say, the 12,000 pound, 10,000 pound. It's a lot of weight, a lot of stress that's being affected by environmental factors, all types
Yeah.
of marine borers and rot and what have you.
It seemed to me it would be better to keep the boat out of the water than have it in the water all the time, I don't know, but that's
As far as the
everything I've
storm
read.
goes, if you can raise it above where the storm tides are gonna be
Yep.
and have it in a safe haven, it's always better, especially in the Peconic River area. Historically, on Northeasters, the place gets very, very rough and tremendous tides and,
The worst I've seen was just the other day. It was the worst since I've only been there since December of '21. Oh my God, I never saw waves coming in up the river. It was crazy.
So you're gonna do some research and get us some information on
On
the
the boat.
specifics of this
Yep.
boat lift.
Yeah.
okay.
The other thing is, this elevation, trustee Parish, where are you at on this? I know what the state does, the state gives you,
18 inches.
but they leave it to the
Up
local
to.
jurisdiction
Yeah, up
to
to, yeah.
make the adjustments.
I've had some with the state, I've gone 4 feet on some, they've allowed it for certain situations, like if it was adjacent to a house, but
Yeah, but when we have conversations with the folks on the inside, they say, well, no, we leave it to you
In the
to make
winter,
the
it
decision.
regularly comes over the bulkhead. In the winter, always, regularly comes over the bulkhead.
What's the elevation of the bulkhead on this property to the west, as well as there's a road end to the east?
Right, that's the
And-
town, right.
the town
And
owns
the
that.
town,
Yeah.
right, so there's gonna be, if you do an 18-inch raise there, that's gonna be a significant difference between the end of the road. And is that a little beach there
No,
with some beach grass? Or is that
no,
just,
it's
it's bulkhead?
yeah, it's all
Bulk-
bulkhead.
This is all fully bulkheaded on both sides of the property.
Okay. But not the property to the
East, no,
east of the road end?
no. There's
what-
no beach there, though. It's
What's,
just,
what's the elevations from the
rock
house
and,
to the
beach
bulkhead?
yeah.
I believe they're all in the same elevation.
I think we need to double check that. That needs to be
You need to
confirmed.
see, like, what is the, like an 18-inch wall sticking up, what's that
So
gonna
they-
do?
they
How's that gonna
actually-
translate
They
to
actually
the houses?
they already raised the bulkhead with 2 6x6s.
With permits?
No, probably not. See right
Yeah, so
there?
where are you going beyond that? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
is that 18, you're going 18 beyond where those ties
It's
are?
like the top, it would be the top of that planter there.
Okay, so, all right, so that leaves a lot of space between the current grass.
Yeah,
Well,
And how's that gonna work?
if you look at the high tide stain on that picture, it's right there, like
So
Mr.
you wanna
Probst
go-
said. It's, if during a storm tide, the winter tide, it will overtop the bulkhead.
Yeah, but
does
when you
regular.
say the original bulkhead, we're looking at an original bulkhead, and there was an add-on of two, I'm assuming 6x6s. So that brings it a foot.
Done, that was done by previous owners. Maybe
Yeah,
that
but
was part of the original.
where
wanna
is your
go-
18 inches coming from?
From the existing where it is right now, the existing.
Existing
bulk-
bulkhead or the ties?
I think, I call those railroad ties the bulkhead, because it's
So you're
part
gonna
of the
go
structure.
18 above that?
No.
Yeah,
You can't because,
That's not gonna work.
because your permit says, the bulkhead, that your permit does not include a 6x6, which is already
Yeah.
12 inches.
Yeah, that wouldn't work anyway, because
So-
that's gonna make a problem on his property, because
Not only his
on the
property.
neighbor's
everybody else's
Road
property,
end
yeah, that-
and the property to the west.
how high is the neighbor to the west? How much higher?
You
And I
need to
don't
go
know if
and
any
measure
photos.
that.
The one to the east, that's the town road.
what's up with that? Look at that
That's
thing.
an overhanging fence, so people can't get through from the street. There's a lot of people hang out down at the end of that dead
You
end
see, the
street.
trouble is that you're not supposed to have that, because if someone falls in the water, they can't get around.
Yeah.
You know, we.
That's
supposed
been
to
there
have-
for
you're supposed to-
years.
Yeah, we
I
know
did
that.
permits for the previous homeowner,
Yeah,
for the bulkhead and the dock replacement. And that was there for a long
but that probably,
time.
was that on the permits?
I have no
Sticking
idea.
out,
I
probably
don't-
not.
I don't even know whose
When we used
property
to
it's
do
on.
clam transplants there, that was an issue, and it was brought up to the previous owner, or
Right.
the previous
Is
owner.
this Sills property?
No,
No.
that's to the east. This is the property to the west
Forget the
of the
name.
road.
Who's the original, who'd you buy it off of? You remember?
Aurelia?
Aurelia, yeah,
there was,
yeah.
yeah, I remember the Bay Constables having conversations, but
So,
it was, I
so,
don't think it was ever
so
resolved.
even there, I mean,
But-
if you take a bulkhead up 18 inches from that point, I mean, look at what that does to the rest of your property.
Well, the property grades off from the house out to the bulkhead. So from us raising it 18 inches, it will level it out a little bit
Well,
more.
how much fill are you bringing in?
I think I had only 20 yards.
That,
But the concern is as important for the adjacent properties.
Right. Well, we would do a return on our side. It wouldn't really affect, and I can modify the plans to do a
Yeah,
return on the other side.
yeah,
You're looking to do a 17 linear foot return on the west side.
Yeah.
Are
Then
there
we
more
could do the
pictures
same
of the
on
property, James?
You got this one.
There is a return on the west side.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
replace, there's an existing return on the
And
west
that
side. We
return
would
is,
replace that.
is gonna fall in soon.
Right.
Right.
I probably only submitted 4 photos.
These are the only three.
3? Yeah.
Trustee Parish, what are you thinking?
That's, yeah.
I think we gotta get some more information on this elevation.
Yeah, I think that, you gotta figure out how that 18's gonna translate to the house and what that's gonna translate to the adjoining properties and actually how much fill you have to bring in to get that to work.
The adjoining property, the house is set way back to the front of Meadowbrook Lane, so it really wouldn't affect their property.
But even if you go 18 inches, that's only 6 inches more than what you have now, because you have 2 6x6s.
Well, no, but that's not what he's saying.
I-
though.
I know, but you can't let them do it, because
I-
those two 6x6s,
Are not permitted.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So,
So-
but that's not what he's understanding.
My understanding is
Right, so he's talking about going like
On top of 6x6.
28 inches.
So if we
and-
could go 6 inches higher than what it is right now, with those
that's
two.
That's the max that
That's
you're
the
gonna
With
go.
those two, then
Six.
that to me would be good, because I think that would be enough to hold the water
That's
back.
definitely
But-
enough. The other
But-
side of it is
But,
way
It's
too
like
much.
it's like
but if
the
you
China wall.
look at the bigger picture, draw back the lens here, look at the road end that's bulkheaded. The town's not going to be doing anything about replacing that bulkhead for who knows when. And the subject property or the property to the west with the boat slip. I mean,
Well, there's no real boat slip there, that he has a
okay,
floating dock.
it's an indentation.
Yeah, but he doesn't use that.
Right, okay. So,
Yeah.
I think we need to know exactly what the difference is between the property to the west and the elevation of the property to the west and the road end, the bulkhead at the road end. And we need some clarification on that fence.
Well, the fence, we can remove that.
That's
back
coming
to-
down during
That's what Trustee
construction.
Parish was saying, we need a lot more
Yeah.
information, but 18 from that high point of those timbers is definitely
But
not
the
happening.
previous owner used to have a lot of problems with people coming down. It's funny, because I was just talking to the neighbor on the east, and he told me that it used to drive him crazy. I've been there almost 2 years now, and I haven't had any problems. It's just people fishing, you know, it's
Yeah.
no big deal. The only thing that they do is they cast on and they hit my boat a lot, which is very
Yeah.
upsetting.
That would annoy me.
Yeah, I have got a brand new Wellcraft, and it's,
That would not make me very
no,
happy.
it doesn't make me happy,
I love
but
fishing
what,
on
you know,
those.
and that's kind of what that fence, I guess, protected originally, but it's still happening with that fence. So how do you stop that?
Can you go out and talk to them?
No, no. First of all, a lot of them don't speak English.
Yeah, it's a,
Those two
The Bay
6x6
Constable?
posts, do they go all the way to the end of the property to
Yeah.
the town road?
Yeah, that's the bulkhead. And something to bring up is this was previously approved by the trustees from the old owner. And you should have that in your record.
the raise of the
I-
6x6s?
Yeah, but I think that the raise is more about what Trustee Pell is talking about,
Right.
and not about what your perception
Yeah.
is. And I think that's where the clarity has to come in. Because if you're asking for something that's
You have
You
the old one?
a reasonable thing, but not, I don't see how it would work 18 off of those ties. And that's where,
He's looking now.
I had the old owner's name and I crossed it off and I have his name now. Let me see if I
that
have
would,
the
that
old.
would be just, you know, because if the ties were not permitted prior, and
Right.
you're moving off of 18 inches off a mark that was not prior permitted, that's not gonna work.
Right.
And it's gonna make a mess of your property anyway.
I'm good with whatever
'Cause
will
we're-
be best for the
Because
whole
if you,
environment.
if you have an 18-inch wall sticking up there, I mean, to get that, you know, from your house to, it's just, that's not gonna, I don't see that.
We do need to get that structure removed, that big platform, because that is not stable anymore.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of that. We need to get the bulkhead to the west is definitely gonna fall in. So something's gotta be done soon.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have loved to have had this done already, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, we get you, so what?
I don't have it.
You don't
So
have, but
wait-
it,
Might be digital.
but regardless,
Yeah.
you know, we gotta get to a number that, you know,
Right.
we gotta get some questions answered. I understand that you wanna get it done, and we're here to work with you on that.
Right.
No,
We just gotta get
we need
numbers.
to have the starting point where it's a permitted bulkhead, not an add-on. If
Correct.
if it's a permit that's on top of the bulkhead that's permitted, then we have another starting point. But initially, I'm looking at the application of the original bulkhead, not the two 6x6s that were, put on there.
Judge is looking it up.
I was
now.
gonna say, do you have the original bulkhead? That would be the question.
We have to go back
Okay.
Yeah, we-
because it's prior to 1985, so our records, it's
Okay.
probably, it's in archives.
I'm just
No problem.
playing devil's advocate here, that it could have been originally built that way.
It could
not
have been,
an
then
add-on.
we're gonna give you 3 inches.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna give you 18 inches.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Being that we're putting this on hold anyhow with the lift, I'd like to go down and personally look at the property,
Me too.
so.
Sure.
There's two other things as well. There's no buffer language in either your application or the,
There's lawn right up to the edge of
There's
the-
one up to the edge, yeah. What are you looking for, 5, 10?
It's a
10-foot.
10-foot
You're all right
buffer.
with it, just be grass or gravel? I mean,
Sandy
It's
gravel.
native
This is grass or gravel.
native vegetation.
native vegetation?
Yeah,
Do you
it's
have
Beach
to,
grass.
non-irrigated. and not-
Non-irrigation, non-fertilized.
Non-fertilized, thank you for
Um,
not fertilized.
so do you want it to be specifically planted non-turf buffer, or can he just put 10 foot of gravel, or
I
10
mean,
foot of
the
sand, beach
regulations are
sand?
calling for gravel or sand, but the reality is it's better for his property and the environment if there's a component of the native
Yeah.
vegetative. Because
Okay.
Can I ask
the
a-
roots go very deep, and then when he gets overtopped, he won't have the
I
erosion.
use Cape American beach
I have-
grass on
That's a-
Well,
everything.
that would
Wonderful,
be
yeah.
fine, and then just leave enough so he can get to what
Walkway.
he needs to get to, yeah.
Can I put a walkway along the bulkhead?
How long is that bulkhead?
104.
What's the width of the capping you're gonna do?
We didn't
Close
finalize
any
that yet.
capping? So how wide are you talking about?
Like a 4 foot
Yeah,
wide?
like a 4-foot
So
walkway.
you should make a determination on how much capping
And then-
you're gonna put on that, and then
4
figure out
foot
what you
deck?
really need beyond that, because if you do like the one project that we had before, did, what, an 18-inch capping?
Yeah, I mean, if you
And
use
then you got
large
eight-
corrugated material, you can go with an 18-inch capping, which will give you a nice walkway along there.
something
And then go with your beach grass beyond that, and
Yeah.
now he's got.
I have another alternative that I'm kind of curious to see what your take would be on it. My brother owns a property in Massapequa, and he's right on the bay, and it's got 350 feet of bulkhead. And he put turf down,
AstroTurf?
AstroTurf. Is that something that you?
So
have
there's
a
no
house-
benefit to the environment with that.
Well, the benefit is there's no
But
That's true, but really the benefit to the native vegetation to you as the property owner is the deep roots that secure your land, so that if you do get an overtopping situation, you lessen the chance of that getting eroded out and changing the pressure between the seaward and the landward side of that bulkhead. So there's, on top of the environmental benefits of that, there's a benefit to you as the homeowners in really securing that land.
And
So with the
nutrient,
turf thing, nutrient absorption
yes.
as well, so there's a,
the roots
understand.
absorb.
you know, and it looks better too. I mean, you know, that's a personal choice thing, but, you know, I think if you're talking about
Well, my
caring about
backyard is
nature.
short, that's the problem. It's very
Well,
short.
well, that's why
It's
I
only
see-
75 feet from the foundation to the bulkhead.
Right, and that-
And I have a full basement, believe it or not.
Right, but
But
that's,
it's 9 feet above the bulkhead, the
so
basement.
that's why I was suggesting you should take a look at an idea kind of like the capping that the other guy used at 18, because you can get around it and service it. You
Okay.
still have enough space there to get a good buffer in.
Right.
Really make a nice
No, that'll
project.
work, that'll work.
And
for
then
me.
enjoy the rest of your backyard and
As long as I have something that my grandson can walk out on
Exactly.
and cast a.
cast
Yeah.
the snappers.
Is 18 inches wide enough, or would you want 4?
No, 4 feet.
Okay, so,
They wanted 18.
The capping
Oh, that's-
with the 4 feet.
There's not, so from 2011, you were going from the top of the bulkhead. Here's a permit. from
I didn't do
2011.
11. That wasn't me in 2011.
No, 2022, in October, you first submitted the application, then
Yeah.
revised it and resubmitted in April of 2023.
What does it say?
And what was it initially, Bill?
The cap. You were going from the cap, not the 6x6s.
Which is,
Cap is
Raise the
under-
height of 18 inches.
but if you look at the
above-
grade, yeah, we should just talk about it in the field, I
Yeah.
think, instead of,
Right, and you're gonna have to
Guessing
get it,
right
you
now.
gotta get it
Yeah,
set so that,
yeah.
because you don't wanna make, listen, I know what you're trying to accomplish, everybody's trying to accomplish something. You don't, you know, you think, oh, bigger is more, but then you make another whole problem on your property and
understand.
for everybody else. You wanna
Let's-
get
Let's
it,
look at it,
you
Scott.
wanna get it set right, exactly. You gotta get on site and look
Yeah.
at it.
so
I wanna-
if we could go back for 1 minute, back to the 4-foot
Walkway.
wide
And
walkway behind, boardwalk, that's integral to the 10-foot wide non-turf buffer? So we do 4-foot walkway and 6 foot of plantings.
You would do 18 inches or 16 inches of over the bulkhead, then take, you
2
know,
and,
24 more inches of that.
right.
Then the rest, so you actually be 8 feet of native plantings. And you can.
Is that on your plans?
No.
Not
You're
yet.
gonna have to revise all your
Yeah,
plans.
absolutely, yeah,
And
yeah,
if you
that's what I'm
put-
trying to
you
do.
can
And, and if you're
Flow
looking
through?
for,
That's, if you use flow through instead of wood,
Mhm.
that way when it comes over, it,
Yeah,
the
that's
water
what I would
goes,
want, flow through.
the water comes right down, it actually be
want-
better.
You want flow-through decking
Yeah,
as the
my
deck?
brother has it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
and
nice.
it looks nice, it's easy,
Yeah.
easy
Okay.
to maintain.
It's easy to maintain.
And the water doesn't bring it up. And then if he does, you know, other stuff like, there's other bushes. One of my friends just did a planting, actually, First Coastal did it down at Mecox, along the bulkhead there, and it came out really beautiful. It has, you know, it's little bushes, has some grass mixed in with it.
I probably would just do grass all the way across, to be honest
Yeah,
with you, instead of
okay.
bushes.
So it's not to be mowed.
keep,
No.
keep American beach grass is
Right,
a,
beach
is a,
grass.
is a high.
There is
Yeah,
some
it's
beach
nice.
grass there now, and actually,
And they
we
look
knew the
pretty.
bulkhead was coming, and we thought it was gonna come sooner, so we took all that grass and transplanted it to the front of the house temporarily, so that we could put it back.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've moved a lot of the plantings, because we knew that
You
was
can use
gonna
it later.
happen. And then we can put it back, you
It's
know?
good, 'cause you know, they're gonna live there.
This requires
Yeah,
site
I'm with,
visit.
yeah.
I mean, the plants will live there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, so trustee Parish will
Yeah,
coordinate.
and when you access the floating dock where the ramp is, like around there, you can have a little bit larger decking, that way you can put chairs.
chairs and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you don't have to go with you can go that, you know.
10 by
maybe-
10 or something like that?
Yeah,
So,
well,
You can make a
yeah,
walkway.
Make a walkway through it, but you also have like a little access area where you
Okay.
can go, so grandson can go fishing off of it, you know.
The
and-
fence is gonna be along the one side, it will be eventually replaced, it's just, because it's dilapidated now. And it has to be replaced, but
And
it-
you're moving your boat over so they won't hit it with those.
Yeah,
You can
yeah, it'll
put
be
on
on the other
other
side,
side
yes,
of
that's
the-
what we're
Yeah,
gonna do.
that's what I was looking at,
Make
because there's a
them
floating
cast.
dock
Yeah,
there
yeah.
now, right?
And,
Especially with lead sinkers they're throwing over there.
Exactly.
yeah,
Throw it back.
Gel coat chips.
All right, so I think we have a,
One other thing is, the proposed floating dock is, farther out than 2.5 feet of water.
Yeah, that's,
So you
where
have
does
to-
the indeterminate start?
Well, it shows at the edge of the deck or dock that's there is, I think, it's hard to see, 3.3.
I'm glad to hear you say it's hard to see.
There's no depth measurements under the back deck, so I don't know where the two.
We
you
need-
gotta get a better
We
hydro
do-
survey.
Yeah, we need more.
For the purpose of,
The
I
floating
can't
dock.
hydro under the deck, and the hydro's across the whole entire property. So I can't do anything more than that.
The floating dock should be at 2.5 feet of water.
It starts at 2.5 feet
Well-
of water.
What do you mean you can't get any more? We need to know where the inner terminus of that floating dock is gonna start. We need
What
to know what the
he's-
water depth is.
What
Oh,
he's
no,
saying,
well, I can't get
Scott,
under
is
the deck to do a hydro
because-
survey.
Because that
Here's the survey.
deck is there now.
It really starts at like the face of the deck, right in that range.
So, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't get, it's a solid deck, you can't get under that. It's cross braces and everything. So the goal here, I mean, even if, in a worst case scenario, is we pull the starting terminus of the floating dock up to the face of the deck.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Because isn't there a 2-4 just to the, on the left side of the?
This one
right?
here, this one here is.
This one. Yeah, let's look at that one, so.
I think there's a 2.4 on the left side
Really?
of the dock, but it's,
Sirens?
that.
Yeah, he's got it here on the,
Yeah, that's a better version, that's the actual hydro survey signed.
this is the one that he has right there, and the 2.4 is right
Yeah,
there.
Right,
That's 2.8, so if you put a
Right.
pier line there.
Yeah, you got some work to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yes,
pulling
sir.
it back to the,
that's a lot easier to read.
yeah, pulling it back to the float on the outer terminus of the fixed dock that's there.
Start the float deck.
Yes,
And then,
Okay.
so it's gonna be significantly shorter.
and you said
Yeah,
that,
3 or 4 feet.
and you said, as far as the pier line
Mhm.
and the structure, it's maintained with the pier line that's
Yes,
original.
yeah, it's shown on my drawing.
Yep.
Those are all from,
Yep, so it's not going out further.
No- no
It
further
won't block
projection.
any access there.
Okay,
Well, it's
all right.
very
and
wide.
it's wide,
Yeah, very
wide,
wide.
wide there, super wide.
All right, so,
And I just wanted to say that I feel very blessed to live there.
Hmm.
And to
Good.
me, I have to protect that.
Yeah,
well,
that's great.
I appreciate that.
We're trying to help you.
We all
No,
do.
I understand that.
Yep,
Yeah.
we all appreciate that.
I mean, some people may consider this back and forth annoying, but I
Nope.
consider it an educational component for everybody.
I understand.
So,
Okay,
all right,
so you guys will contact me, I guess James,
James or trustee Parish,
okay,
it's his area.
okay.
and then we'll set up a meeting, we'll go look at it, and
Yeah.
I'll do some modified drawings based on our conversations, so we
Yep.
can have that for discussions at the meeting.
Yeah, definitely the clarifications on
Sounds
the
good.
elevations, because
Yeah.
the 18 from the top of that point is just not gonna
Okay.
work.
The
So you-
buffer, drawing back the ramp.
Buffer, the ramps, the walkways, moving, pulling back the body, yeah,
Yep.
I'll take care of that.
It'll all work out.
The
It'll be fine.
ramp that I have picked out already is the one that you don't have the rails looking out. It's just the lift from the bottom.
So you're talking, okay.
Oh, the
Yeah.
lift itself.
Yeah,
So,
it's,
yeah, get us all the information on this
so I'll
list.
get,
me the
I'll
model.
get the.
Do some research on this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's all this.
The new netting thing, I don't know that I would trust that
I
so
know,
much.
I want to, we're doing research.
I'm gonna look at
We're
it.
gonna do some research, yeah.
I'm gonna look at it too.
I saw that when I was in Florida
I was
last
gonna
time.
say, it sounds like a Florida thing,
Yeah, I saw it in Florida last time,
they
and
do a
then
lot different down there.
I've seen a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll work here, that's the.
Yeah, with ice and all that.
Thank you very much for your
All
time.
right,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you.
You're all affected?
She just went outside to see that all Southampton schools been, as a
Aren't we in the part of school?
So are we finished, Scott?
We got two
No,
more,
we're
let's
not.
just finish those.
Wait,
We're
no.
not finished.
Did you say, oh, sorry, thank you.
We got things going on here.
Just stamp plans and then we can get out of here.
Right, so the next one we've got is Michael Federico, 47. I see, we have his
This
plans.
is just
We're
stamp
all,
plans.
we're all good.
We're all
Stamp
good?
plans.
Okay,
Thanks for visiting, but
Thank
all
you.
right,
thank you for being all good with your plans.
yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Then you
Brian
have,
Donahue, 17 Common Point Drive.
You all set with that,
It's a
Ed?
modification. I think everything is here, right, James?
Yes.
So we'll move it forward. Okay.
Okay, so I think that what is left on our agenda is to go into executive session. If there's no other discussion that needs to be had, a work session here by the trustees, in an active work session.
No.
So I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting, go into executive session for the discussion of personnel and confidential legal advice.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Pell, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Executive session, everybody.